Hello, hello, and welcome back for another adventure in the cookie jar. Today we're doing the 6th recipe from the Cream Puff Murder. They are Hannah's Very Best Cream Puffs and Emmy's Vanilla Custard. For the cream puffs, so the first thing is to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. You're going to want a cup of water, half a cup, 1 stick of butter, 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon white sugar, 1 cup flour. Pack it down in the measuring cup and level off with a knife. 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and 4 extra large eggs at room temperature. For the custard, you want half a cup of white sugar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground nutmeg, 1/3 cup of flour, 1 cup whole milk, 1 cup heavy cream, 2 beaten eggs, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, and 1 ounce, 1/4 stick of butter. That's 2 tablespoons. So, I have never made a custard on the stove before, and I've never made a cream puff before. So, this could either go really well or really bad, depending on the level of instructions. So, hopefully it goes well. It seems kind of simple. You take a cookie sheet, spray it with Pam or just parchment paper. I use my silicone mat. Apparently you can make mini cream puffs, but you'll need 2 cookie sheets. And it says to put the water and the butter in the saucepan, cut up in small pieces, sprinkle in the salt and the sugar, turn the burner on medium to melt the butter. While that's heating, measure out the flour, put it in a bowl, add the baking powder, and stir it in with a fork. When the butter has melted, turn up the heat and bring the water to a full rolling boil. It says to turn that to low, dump all the flour in once, and stir it quickly with a wooden spoon. After a few minutes of vigorous stirring, the dough will clean the sides of the saucepan and begin to ball up. This takes about 30 seconds. Pull the saucepan from the heat and turn off the burner. Let the dough sit on a cold burner on the counter to cool for 20 minutes. When the dough has cooled, break an egg and add it to your dough. Beat it in with a wooden spoon. Continue to beat vigorously until the egg is fully incorporated and the dough is smooth. Add the remaining eggs one at a time, beating after each addition until the egg is incorporated and the dough is smooth again. Hannah's first note. Total time for beating in the eggs by hand is about 5 minutes. A hand mixer also works, but the dough gets caught inside the beaters and you must poke it out with a rubber spatula after each egg has been added to the dough. Test your dough by lifting out a spoonful and dropping it on the top of the rest of the dough. If it stays on top and maintains its shape, it's ready to bake. If not, beat it some more until it does. It says drop the dough by large spoonfuls under the cookie sheet. Make 12 mounds of dough, and if they need shaping, do so with damp fingers. Don't crowd the puffs. They should be at least 3 inches apart. If you want to make mini puffs, drop small spoonfuls on the sheets, 15 to each. We bake them for 45 to 50 minutes. Mini puffs bake 30 to 35. Really big, bold capital letters. Don't open the oven to peek. Finished cream puffs should feel firm to the touch and be golden brown. But if you're not supposed to open the oven, how are you supposed to know they're firm to the touch and golden brown? Like, I don't understand that part. I don't. But anyway. So it says they come out of the oven, pierce the side of each one with a point of a sharp knife. This isn't necessary for the mini puffs. Cool the puffs on the baking sheet, careful to keep them away from drafts. Cut off the top third of each puff for the lid, remove any filaments of dough inside the bottoms, and fill the puffs. I might have to Google that. I don't know what that means, filaments of dough. Like, string. It says to fill them with sweetened whipped cream, Emmy's vanilla custard, or great grandma's chocolate pudding, ice cream, or any flavor of pie filling. Overfill a bit so the lid sits jauntily on top of the filling. Dust each one with powdered sugar and serve. If you want messy but yummy, you can drizzle a bit of chocolate sauce or icing over the tops. You can make these puffs a day ahead and store them tightly covered in a dry place like a kitchen cupboard. You can also fill them, wrap them tightly, and freeze them. Just thaw frozen cream puffs, dust them with powdered sugar, and serve. Yield 12 to 30, depending on if you make large or mini. And then with the vanilla custard, so you take the saucepan, you dump in all the stuff, you mix that up, and then you put it on the heat for 10 minutes until it's thickened. It says remove the saucepan from the heat, but leave the burner on. Break the eggs into a small bowl and quickly beat them with a whisk until they are well mixed. Stir several tablespoons of the hot mixture into the bowl with the eggs. Whisk until it's incorporated, and then slowly pour that back into the saucepan, whisking it all the while. Return the saucepan to the heat and stir for 2 to 3 minutes until the mixture is very thick. Remove the saucepan from the heat. You can turn off the burner at this time. Add the vanilla extract, the ounce of butter, and stir until it's melted. Let this cool so you can use it to fill your cream puffs. Or pour into bowls while it's hot, chill in the refrigerator, and serve it with little sweetened whipped cream for a lovely dessert. Yield 4 servings of pudding or filling for 6 to 8 cream puffs. But cream puffs make 12, so if it only fills half, I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other half of my cream puffs. Might have to fill in the dice. All right, let's get started. This is everything we need for the cream puffs and Emmy's vanilla custard. All right, so we want the water, 1 cup of water, in the butter. Now, it didn't say cold or room temperature butter, so I have room temperature butter, which didn't really break into small pieces because it's all pretty much room temperature anyway. But I did attempt to cut it up a little bit. Just gonna have to try to break it up with a spoon. And it says to sprinkle in the salt and sugar. Well, now we want to turn this on medium to melt it. And it says while this is melting, to take the flour and add the baking powder and to stir that in with a fork. Why can't you just bring the water to a melt? Because it says to melt the butter under medium heat, but then you're immediately turning it to a rolling boil. Why not just turn it to a rolling boil to melt the butter? Like, what does it matter? All right, now butter is melted, so turn it to a rolling boil. All right, so we want to turn this to low and add in the flour. It says to stir this quickly. So this is what we have. It says to let this cool for 20 minutes. So I will see you back here in 20 minutes. We let it sit for 20 minutes, and it says to drop an egg in. And to vigorously beat until it's incorporated. All right, next. Can't help but wonder if the mixer might have been better. All right, I am pretty sure this is done. Either way out, it's been 5 minutes and my arm hurts really bad. And I know it says to drop it by spoonfuls onto the sheet, but I don't like doing stuff like that. So we're gonna put it in a piping bag and squeeze it out. Hopefully get 12 that are pretty even. So I don't know how to do this exactly. Maybe just something like that. Says if you have to shape them with wet fingers. All right, so I don't know what the goal here is exactly. These are going to be some of the jankiest looking cream puffs. So here they are. This is what's going in the oven, 400 degrees for 40 to 45 minutes. So while the cream puffs are baking, I'm going to get started on the custard that is going to go in them. It says to combine the sugar the salt, the nutmeg, and the flour. And we're just going to whisk that together. And then it says to stir in the milk and the cream. So to put this on a medium-high heat and stir constantly until it's thickened, about 10 minutes. Set the timer for 10 minutes. And now we whisk. I need a TV show or something to watch. This is so boring. I'll be honest. If I didn't use my phone to read on my Kindle app, I would totally read a book while I do this. I would totally be sitting here flipping through my book. You know, I've seen like infomercial ads, they have this whiskey thing that you can just set in the pot and it's like battery operated and it'll stir it for you. Kind of feel like this would be really good use for that. So we are about at the halfway mark and this doesn't really seem thickened at all. So I'm wondering, am I not stirring fast enough? Do I not have the heat high enough? Or does it just like thicken really quickly around the 10-minute mark? Not too sure. Does stirring speed matter? I figured we were just doing this so it didn't burn. I think I spoke too soon. I think we're starting to thicken. Yeah, around the 6-minute mark, it's starting to thicken. So now that it's thickened, do I need to keep stirring it for another 4 minutes or do I pull it off? How thick should it get? Because you still got to add the eggs. I think I'm gonna let it keep going. As long as I can move the whisk in it, I'm gonna keep whisking it, I guess. I am turning the heat down a little bit. Now it's like a cheese sauce kind of consistency. But it did thicken quickly. Like in the span of going from 5 to 4, it definitely thickened. My arm is getting tired though, I will tell you that. Pull it at that. Oh, it said not to turn the stove off. My bad. I already have the eggs broken into a small bowl. It's to stir several tablespoons into the hot mixture. So that doesn't quite work. I did this backwards, so did I just like royally screw stuff up? It doesn't smell like scrambled eggs, but apparently I was supposed to go the other way. I think this incorporated better when I was adding small amounts of the egg to this, not the other way around. Because this doesn't seem to incorporate this way. I'm bringing out the big guns. I can't tell if this is scrambled eggs or not. I don't... Is that why there's white bits? It's not actually the mix, it's runny eggs. Did I cook the eggs? Do I gotta start over? How do I know? I think I cooked the whites of my eggs. I don't know what to do. No. Okay, so that's definitely not cooked egg. That's just not mixing in the way it says it's supposed to. It says to stir until incorporated, and I am trying, but that stuff will not incorporate. Like, no, you'll never take me alive. I'm just gonna keep adding stuff. Worst case scenario, this fails and I end up just filling them all with some kind of whipped cream. So now, slowly pour the eggs into the saucepan, whisking all the while. Ah, crap. Okay. I smell cooked eggs, but I think it's coming from there. I think it's coming from the cream puffs themselves. It says to return this to the heat and stir it for 2 or 3 more minutes. I'm not a fan of this kind of custard. Honestly, I think I had the right idea by just adding the eggs slowly into the custard mixture, not mixing this little bit and that little bit and all that. Then again, maybe, like I said, maybe I haven't cooked the eggs and this will taste really good. But my confidence in this is low. Add the vanilla and then the butter. It says to do this quickly. Alright, that's the vanilla. I'm going to transfer this into a plastic bowl, or it not, probably should use plastic, but I'm going to transfer this into a bowl. It smells really good, so I really hope this came out right. I always fear when you have to temper eggs that it's not going to work right, because most of the time it is very 50-50, but it's got a good texture to it. All right, so I'm just going to toss this in the fridge. The cream puffs should be done in about 10 minutes, but they also have to cool as well. So we will mix them together in just a little bit. I put these out about 5 minutes early because they were on the verge of burning. I did stab them already. You can kind of see some of the spots where I stabbed them. So here's the thing. It's really important, I guess, to judge how much filling, because you can't exactly go back and add more. I'm not even sure what to do with this. That might be just 2 different puffs. But hopefully they taste good. They might look a mess, but for a first attempt, hey, what are you gonna do? Okay, so filling's cooled. These guys are cooled. It says to cut the top third off. So, and then I guess to clean it up a little bit, so you can get your pocket. I guess that's what they were talking about. And then to take the, whatever you're filling them with, cut off a little bit. Then, I don't think I filled it enough. Top back on it. There we go. There is our cream puff. And then just repeat the rest with the rest of them. So I filled the bottom half of them with the custard, and I filled the top half with whipped cream. And this is what we ended up with. So the cream puff smells really eggy, so I'm really not sure what that's supposed to be. The custard, it came out really well. It's really thick, so I don't know if I should have cooked it for as long as I did. But it tasted just like the Jell-O pudding, but with nutmeg in it. So if you're in a hurry, just buy the pre-made pudding and add nutmeg, as far as I'm concerned. But let's see what these came out as. I feel like these are going to be messy to eat. Rough glove. I expected it to be stiffer because they feel hard, but they're really light and they're really messy. And that nutmeg and that pudding goes really well. If you're interested in joining us next week, we are making Great Grandma's chocolate pudding. So these, A+. A+ for the cream puffs, although I think I would have liked them better as minis. A+ for the pudding, because that is delicious. And I'm so glad it came out. I was really nervous about those eggs. I hope y'all have a good one. Bye.